Hi, I'm Terry Foster, and I'm a fellow for the Constellations Center for Equity and Computing here at Georgia Tech. Today I'm going to talk about variables in Java, but more specifically the differences between assigning values to variables versus comparing values of variables. Students, and sometimes teachers, often tend to mistake the two, causing errors in their program. So this two-part video is intended to help prevent those pesky errors. In the first part, with the first part of this video highlighting the descriptions of Java variables, and the second video modeling the coding portion of the lesson. So as you recall, variables or a variable is a name for a space that's been allocated in memory. In other words, it is a labeled box that stores a value. So variables have a type, a name, and a value. And a variable name is case sensitive in Java and must start with either a letter, a $sign, or underscore. Typically, we use lower camel case when we're naming our variables in Java, which means the first letter in the word is lowercase and all preceding words after begin in uppercase. So in the example I have here, num of followers, the num, which is short for number, is lowercase, starts with a lowercase number, and then all preceding words of and followers start with uppercase letters. So we have an integer type that has been named num of followers, and as you might guess, this variable stores the number of followers a user might have on social media. In the second example, we have a string data type that has been named insta-name. This variable stores text, and in this case, the value of an Instagram account, Michelle Obama. So again, the type is string, the name is insta-name, and the value is Michelle Obama. And it is a string and not an integer. So earlier, I mentioned the term data type. It's important to know which data types are primitive and which data types are non-primitive. So here's a list of Java primitive types and Java non-primitive types. And this slide shows a high-level view of Java data types in a hierarchy format. So what is the coding for assigning primitive and non-primitive data types versus comparing them? Well, we assign the values to these data types similarly using the equal sign. However, when it's time to compare them, we use two totally different techniques. For primitive data types, we use two equal signs when we want to compare them. So in this example, we have primitive types, and we have two integers, student Terrence and student Kiera. The 18 represents how old they are, so they've been assigned the value 18. And so when we want to assign the values to these variables, we just used one equal sign. However, when it's time to compare if these two variables equal each other, we want to use two equal signs indicated here. And since these two do equal each other, then the value, I should say true, would be assigned to this prom date allowed Boolean variable. So this Boolean variable says, hey, if these two variables equal each other, assign the value true to this Boolean variable. If these did not equal each other, meaning if one of these was a different number than 18, then this variable will become false. So since they equal each other, this is true, these variables equal each other. This is an example where they don't. So we have Javier and Selma is only 16, and so we want them both to be the same age in order to go to prom together. And so since student Javier and student Selma do not equal each other, this Boolean variable will be assigned the value false. And we compare them again using two equal signs. We assign values to the variables using one equal sign. And then here again, we have an example where Sophia and Lucia, they're both 17. And so since these values do equal each other, they would be allowed to go to prom together. Again, two equal signs to represent comparison and one equal sign when we want to assign a value to our variable. So both primitive and non-primitive data types use the equal sign for assigning values to the variables. However, since this is a string and it's a non-primitive, we don't use two equal signs when it's time to compare them. we use a method called dot equals, and we pass in whatever other variable we want to compare. And the reason why we do that is because non-primitive types are objects, and with objects we use methods when we want to compare them. So equal sign to assign a value for non-primitive types, a method, which is the dot equals method used to compare them. So the curriculum reference standards and resources for this activity. So you can find lessons about this activity under 2.2 in CodeHS and 2.15. The CSTA standards are indicated here for this activity in this lesson. Additional resources may also be found under these websites. And to connect with us, you may visit us here at our website, you may email us, or you may contact me directly with my email indicated here. This concludes part 1 of the video. Part 2 will show the coding using a sandbox platform. Thank you for watching.